Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today I'll be taking a look at Jetfire from the Transformers Cyber Battalion series. These are pretty much exclusive to Walgreens. I don't know if they're 100% exclusive to Walgreens, but I've never seen them anywhere else. So I know they also sell them like in the Universal Studios, like Transformers The Ride gift shop. But that's kind of a special case. And I think they have exclusives for the Universal Studios Transformers store, but this one, I've seen Prowl, which I've previously reviewed, Bumblebee, there's a couple other ones that I've seen at Walgreens, and I bought Prowl a while ago, and I reviewed him, and I liked it a lot, and then I thought about going back and getting Jetfire, and they just never had him again. There's always like one sad Bumblebee sitting there, and the Bumblebee one looks terrible to me, so I am not buying that toy, and I always kind of hoped I would find Jetfire again one day, but then they kind of just stopped showing up, and I don't know, I guess Walgreens stopped getting them. I thought maybe the line was kind of dead. And then randomly I walked into Walgreens the other day and he was sitting there waiting for me. So I was very excited, decided to pick him up, and now I'll be sharing them with you guys. So here is the box. There's no open window on these. Nothing going on the top. Not really anything going on the bottom. There's the Prowl that I already reviewed. On the side, cool picture of Jetfire. On this side, very blank. And then it shows the, obviously, vehicle mode, robot mode over here. 8 steps. The transformation steps are here on the back. And it says, the Autobot scientist Jetfire is always looking to upgrade and improve Autobot technology. So there was a Starscream, which I believe is one of the ones exclusive to the Universal Studios store. And Jetfire is kind of a remold / repaint of Starscream. But I think he actually looks really cool. I'm really excited to open this up. So I'll go ahead, get him out of the box, and we'll take a closer look. So taking a look at Cyber Battalion Jetfire out of the packaging, I think he looks pretty good. I feel like the arms are a little white. Maybe they could have used a little bit of pop of color, like a red stripe or something on the forearm. But otherwise, I think he looks pretty good. He comes with these 2 gun accessories, which I believe are exactly the same, which he can wield in either hand. I think that looks pretty good. And also, because it is a remold of Starscream, you can put them on his shoulder if you'd rather, to give him kind of a more, Starscream look with the arm-mounted cannons, whichever look you prefer. I'm just going to put these off to the side for the moment. But yeah, they're cast in solid red plastic, so. But they work. I think they look good. No problems there. Prowl didn't come with any accessories, so I was happy to get those. Like I said, I suspect it's mostly because he's a Starscream remold. But yeah, I think he looks good. I mean, you have the wings on the back. They look great. Very perfect for Jetfire, Skyfire, whatever term you'd like to use. I always liked calling him Skyfire. I know they had to call the toy Jetfire for naming rights or whatever, but he was Skyfire on the show, and I just always thought that was such a cool name. But that's neither here nor there. So you have some blue paint here, kind of a dark blue paint for the canopy. You have a little bit of red trim here on the waist. The legs are mostly red with some white paint. And then, like I said, you have these wings, which I'll move the arms out of the way. The little Autobot symbol. You can see that the forearms are very hollow. I mean, the funny thing about these Battalion series figures, they seem like, on the surface, they look like knockoff toys, but they're not. They're just, in my opinion, they're like upscaled Legion class figures. What used to be called Legends. The Legion class, usually they're like $5 to $7 a piece. They feel like upscaled versions of those. But they feel pretty solid, I have to say. I mean, the wrists or the elbow joints, the forearms here, these are a little cheesy. But for the most part, the figure feels pretty solid. The head can move from side to side. Not a ball joint, just a swivel. You have the swivel joint right here in the shoulder. You have an out to the side for the shoulder as well. So you kind of have those 2 shoulder joints. You have 90 degrees, actually a little bit over 90 degrees in the elbow there. The forearm and the wrist and everything is one solid piece. For the hip, you don't have any waist movement, but for the hip you have out to the side and a ratchet. Now you can kind of hear the click of the ratchet, but mine also feels a little loose. But there you go. The front to the back, that ratchet seems louder. It also feels like the more you play with it, the looser it will get, but the knee joints are an illusion. They do not really exist. They look like they should. It looks like it should have a bend right there, but it is not true. It's a lie. with the ankle, you have some movement just because of the transformation. So, and I apologize for the lighting. This guy is so white that it's making my camera go a little crazy, but try to do what we can. I think the head sculpt works too. I'll try to get a little bit closer here. I mean, it's very simple. It's just a visor and a faceplate, so, but it works. I think it looks good. Now, usually Jetfire has like a helmet, but obviously this toy does not have a helmet you can take off or anything like that. But I think there's really not much kibble on the back. I mean, obviously there's this section with the wings, but I feel like it integrates perfectly, frees up the waist area so that there's no problem with articulation or anything like that. Overall, I think it's a success. Real quick, here is the Prowl that I previously reviewed. So here are the two of them next to each other, pretty much in scale. This guy almost looks like he yellowed a little bit, but I don't think he did. I think it's just the lights, but I could be wrong. This guy seems very stark white in comparison, though. So who knows? Maybe they have yellowed a little bit. Like I said, they seem like they're a little bit of a cheaper plastic, so it wouldn't surprise me. But like I said, they still feel pretty solid. The only thing is they're about $15, $16 a piece at Walgreens, which seems like a lot. I feel like for $10 it'd be a solid deal. 15's not outrageous, but I think that could be just Walgreens charges more for things. It's just kind of the nature of Walgreens, but I feel like for $10 these would be a solid buy. 15's kind of, you know, but not terrible. So we'll go ahead and we'll get into the transformation here. It's very simple, as you can probably imagine. You can start by kind of sandwiching the legs together. And then what you're going to do is come around to this part and you're going to fold the wings down and they'll naturally stop. There's kind of a plastic piece there so that they don't go too far. And then you're going to bend this whole piece down. There's a joint right here. And you can see that there's two little notches, one right there and one right there on the legs. And these big tabs right here and here, when you fold this down, will peg into those on the legs. And that really shores it up. It feels really solid. Obviously, the ankles here, you're going to rotate down, and that shows the thrusters of the jet. You can also go ahead and pop up the wings if you like. At this point, you're going to put the arms all the way out. And then there's actually another joint that's going to come down right there. And then this tab right here is going to peg into this spot right here on the forearm. So when you bring this down, it will hop over there, and then you can bring this and it will peg in. And it pegs in pretty solidly. Like I said, these toys do feel pretty solid. Like this, they are a little bit of a cheaper plastic, but they stay together well, which I like. At this point, this is actually kind of funny. So he has these kind of ears on his helmet. You have to bring them down. You'll actually rotate them. And at first I thought it felt like I was breaking it, but I promise you're not. You just have to rotate them down. Almost looks like he has ram horns now. And that's just so that you can bring this fuselage section out of his chest and it'll clear. Because otherwise it won't be able to clear them if you leave them up here. And then this will close. Just like that. And also you can see there's a little cutout here of the canopy. That's for this peg here when you're transforming it back into robot mode and you need to bring the wing section back up. This tab here pegs into that spot there. So then you just fold out this last little piece of the fuselage. Now as you do that, it's going to bring out the landing gear. So you can leave it out like that, or you can just push it all the way back in. You can see the other landing gear is permanently molded into his knee pads. So, but yeah, there is the jet mode. I think it works. I think it looks pretty darn good. I can totally understand that this mold was originally Starscream. I think that makes perfect sense. But I think it works as Jetfire. I think it works. Now, if you come around to the back, or the bottom, underneath, whatever you want to say, obviously you have that same peg hole that was in his shoulder. So you can put the gun on like that if you like. If you like that look. Or there's a peg hole on the wing, and you can peg the guns to the wings. I like the wing look better, just me personally, but either one is perfectly doable, so you have some options there. But yeah, I like this a lot. I think this is a lot of fun. It's a, goofy, kind of larger toy, but simple transformation. I would think kids would love this because of the simple transformation, and it's large enough, especially for younger kids to handle. Doesn't feel so intricate. But yeah, I love this jet mode. I think this works really, really well. get a closer look here. There we go. I think this is a pretty fun toy. It's definitely a little bit more expensive than it needs to be, in my opinion. I really think $10 would have been a perfect price point for these. But again, $15's not outrageous. I just think it could have been a little bit cheaper. But again, that could just be Walgreens. I don't know what Hasbro's suggested retail price for these is. And you certainly can't go by what they take for them in the Universal Studios theme park, because theme park prices are always astronomically inflated. So that's not really a good gauge either. But yeah, I think it's fun. I mean, they're definitely larger, simpler toys. I think they're meant for younger kids because of the simpler transformation. But I think even collectors could have fun with them just because, you know, the robot forms look good. The transformations are simple but fun. Both modes look really good. There's fun to be had here. I kind of like this line. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some in this line that look terrible. I think the Bumblebee in this line looks really bad, and I will never buy that toy. It would have to be like clearanced out to almost nothing for me to pick that up. I think there was an Optimus, too, that I don't think was too bad. And I think there's a Megatron that I think... The Optimus and the Megatron and maybe the Starscream, and actually maybe a different version of Bumblebee. There might be two different Bumblebees. But the Optimus, Megatron, I believe, are exclusive to the Universal Studios park. And I think there's a Bumblebee and a Starscream also exclusive. But then they did a different version of Prime and Bumblebee to go with the Walgreens releases. So, I don't know. There's a couple of these floating around. Like I said, I kind of thought the line was dead, but I saw pictures on the internet recently that they're doing like a Prowl repaint / retool as Sideswipe, which actually looks pretty darn good. So I'm not going to go crazy hunting it down, but if I can find that without too much trouble, I'll probably pick that up and review it as well for you guys. So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, like I said, they don't release so many of these that you're going to go crazy, you know, buying so many of these. But if they just did one every couple months or something like that, I think it's a fun little line. They're simple, but they're good, and they seem like they'd be cheap, but they're actually fairly solid. So I think they're good, fun toys, but you guys tell me. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. You think I'm crazy? You think they're overpriced? You think they're good? You agree with me? I'd like to hear from you guys. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like and share the video. Please subscribe. I hope you guys have enjoyed this look at Cyber Battalion Jetfire from Transformers Generations. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.